the fall, and in your mind the clouds have been gathering. You may feel hopeless, but I'll never let you go. Fly through the stratosphere and then I'll rip and scream it from your soul. Oh, we'll watch him fall. Now your clouds are all gone. Come and set your light through. Just set your light through before we're only whispers in the wind. Today may be the last time I get to say your life's had meaning and you mattered most. The way you hold me like I am your everything has burned inside me, so we'll never be apart. Fly through the stratosphere and then I'll rip and scream it from your soul. Oh, we'll watch him fall. Now your clouds are all gone. Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again.
Everybody! Welcome to the post show for Backlash. As you see, we're on screen right now, ready to give you guys our breakdown of the show. But who are we exactly? Well, with anime in our souls and thoughts of wrestling out of control, we are a group of weebs who love the entertainment of professional wrestling. So allow us to be the voices inside of your head as we go through the wrestling events of the evening, give our thoughts and opinions on what's to come, and provide an experience inclusive to all you nerds out there. So grab your steel chair, yell for the table, get put through an experience unlike any other. Brought to you, of course, by Anime We Studios. This is the Weebs of the Ring podcast. Welcome, everybody. It is a Saturday night. We just had Backlash in St. Louis. A very fun night of wrestling, I thought. A lot of storylines. Like, they did progress a little bit, maybe not as much as some people might hope, but we still got some progression going into our next event, which seems to be, I think, Saturday night's main event, and then we're
Mhm.
going to be going to Saudi, Money in the Bank's coming down the road, and eventually we're going to be at SummerSlam. So we're going to be kicking off some gears here going into the summer months and all that. But if you're new here, welcome to the stream. Be sure, leave a comment down below, chat down below, like down below. If you don't like chatting and you're lurking, that's also cool too. We appreciate any of your uh support that you can give us. But as always, I am your world champion Watkins, here to guide us through all of these wrestling events that we have, all the action, all the non-stop storytelling going on. And of course, I'm never alone in this endeavor. I have the genius of the mat himself, Drop This Box, joining me tonight. Drop, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I have a little bit of a headache because of the coffee that I drank last night when we were doing the coverage for SmackDown. So I decided to give that a little break. Decided just to stick with water, which is probably a lot better anyway. But I will say, when it comes to the Backlash show, I will say that I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected. Because
Hmm.
when I looked at it on paper, outside of like a few things, of course, because there was a couple things in here I was looking forward to, I wasn't like as hyped heading into this event itself, but I will come out and say that I definitely was entertained throughout the show tonight. And it also ended around like 9:30ish, which is nice for us because
Great.
we get to do the show now and then we could head to bed afterwards. So that's always
Exactly,
nice.
right? Oh man. Yeah, it was a good night for the sports entertainment and a lot of good action too. And like I was saying earlier, like storyline progression, nothing too like deep or too
Mm,
big happening with a lot of stories going on currently.
mm.
But again, like just a solid night of entertainment. I mean, I think every match brought like I look at it and I think it was around the Dominik Mysterio match. I thought to myself, everybody put on their working boots tonight, and you may think to yourself, oh, well, of course they put on their working boots. They're wrestlers. They're gonna go into that ring. If they don't bring in their working boots, I mean, they can't really do anything, and they're just gonna fail while they're in the ring on any spots that they're in and all that. But no, there was something about the action. Like everybody had a fire lit under them, which was really, I really appreciated that. From again the both IC title matches, the Fatal 4-Way beginning, uh, Pat McAfee and Gunther, though it may have gone just a little too long in my liking, still delivered in something that I was actually fine with. And then John Cena, Randy Orton putting out probably one of their top three matches of all time, if not top two. I don't know if top one yet. I'd have to go through their catalog and all that. Um, but yeah, we're gonna go through the night. We're gonna talk about each match, each segment, each progression when we talk about stories and all that. And yeah, we're just gonna dive right in. We're gonna start as always with our main event because that's our biggest talking point here. We had the unseen 17 of John Cena taking on Randy Orton for the last and final time in both of these men's careers, because
Hmm.
after this year, John's going to be done. He's going to hang it up, all that stuff. He's still holding on to the title. And again, I thought this was a really good match. I mean, there were some shenanigans at the end because got to have our ref bumps. It's our main event. We got to overbook it like crap because this is
Yeah,
2025 WWE and all that. But like, it wasn't anything that really took me out of it.
same.
It was because again, it was a lot of fun.
Hmm.
Like the ref got taken out. The same ref got taken out like two times. They got another ref that got taken out. Nick Aldis and the boys come out and get taken out. Like it was just a fun night of action. And even though they had their slow, methodical pacing and all that, it didn't feel slow to me. Because like going into this match, I thought it was gonna feel really slow, but it didn't. Like it actually, was paced fairly nicely. Like I feel like they even played upon that whole uh chin hold thing, or like the rest hold as they like to call it, because there was a part where Cena and Orton keep Irish whipping themselves into the ropes, and they keep countering with like a sleeper hold, and then it's a sleeper hold, and then another sleeper hold until Orton finally gives a back suplex and all that. But yeah, I thought this was just a solid main event, and a lot of people are saying right now online, yeah, this is better than Cody Cena. Yeah, yeah, this was kind of better than Cody Cena, which is crazy to think about because like Cody's not really too far away from them when it comes to like in-ring prowess or like just how he is in the ring. But yeah, this was a lot better setup match, I think, than Cody Cena at WrestleMania. But talk to me, Joe. What do you think of the match? Because like there was a few callbacks here and there with like eye pokes and like your typical heel shenanigans and all that, from like teasing punt kicks to everybody just having infinite amount of finishers held on and all that. But what do you think of the match going into it and coming out of it too?
Thought it was an enjoyable match. I felt like the way that it was laid out tonight was probably the best thing that they really could do.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at the way that the match was structured, I feel like if you did like a normal match where it's just them just following the rules and then John, does what he typically does if the ref's not looking with the title, the eye poke, or just nailing him in the balls, or whatever the case may be. I feel like if we just had it played out like that, I don't think I would enjoy it as much. I felt like what they did tonight was probably needed to make it feel memorable, because they advertised it as like the last time that these guys are going to be going head to head with one another. So you're not going to just have like a typical WWE match where if something happens, DQ or, wherever the case may be, laying it out like that. Like I felt like the shenanigans was needed when you had the ref bumps and you had Randy Orton RKOing Nick Aldis and the rest of the guys backstage, and seeing them go outside of the ring and doing the table spots, and Randy Orton hitting the AA on John Cena. Like I felt like, considering how much history these guys had, you had to go a little wild with it, because I feel like when it comes to times like this, it makes sense. Because like I mentioned, if you did a regular wrestling match, I don't think that many people would really be like that into what we saw tonight, which is why it was so memorable, because of the things that happened within the match itself. And you also got to keep in mind, these are two guys that know each other very well. So knowing how much they've been in the ring with one another, they can predict their movements and like the snap of a finger. So whenever John goes to do something, Randy knows how to counter it, etc. So on. Same thing goes for like Cena, whatever Randy tries doing something, he knows how to counter it. So it's like, I felt like what they did was really smart. And even when it came to like one of the complaints that I saw tonight that I definitely disagree with, when it came to the whole R-Truth spot being pointless, I feel like the people that saw that spot within the match itself probably weren't paying attention to what was happening on television, because you had this whole thing of R-Truth for a couple weeks now where he's looking at John Cena the way he always had. Like he hasn't changed his mindset on him. He even approached Randy Orton, not this SmackDown, but last SmackDown, like last week, talking about like how Randy's not going to be able to get the job done. And that's why he went out there and, did what he did when he went to shield John Cena before Randy landed the punt kick on him. So when you had R-Truth come out during that spot, it didn't bother me because it made sense and it played into the story because of what he was doing on screen. Like, out of all people, why are you having R-Truth have these little interactions with Randy if they're not going to pay off somehow? And I felt like what they did tonight made the most sense. It's not like with the whole Travis Scott thing, because I know people use that as a comparison. They're like, okay, we got the Travis Scott interference, now we got the R-Truth one. And I'm like, the only reason why the Travis Scott spot sucked is because The Rock wasn't there alongside him when it came to contributing to the story. If those two walked out with one another, I'm pretty sure nobody would be complaining if The Rock was involved with Travis Scott heading down the ring during that match that John Cena had with Cody Rhodes. So it's like, it's right in your face, so I don't really understand the complaints and everything. It's not like it takes away, because, I mean, that wasn't even the end of the match afterwards. You had a couple other things played out before, Cena did a little bro and he hit him with the title and won the match. But that's something I do have to throw out there when it comes to, defending that part of the match, because I felt like what they did made sense when it came to Truth's involvement here. And we even saw that you brought up as the stream was playing with the music, we saw that John Cena. I have to watch it back probably when I'm in bed, but I did see the little clip where John Cena was at the press conference. I believe he kicked out Triple H or something, and then you had R-Truth approach him, and then Cena was like, just don't say anything, just go, just go the opposite direction. But then he says something again. He gets a AA through the press conference table. So it's like, I feel like that made sense when it came to the follow-up of that, where Truth might go up to him and be like, oh, what did you think of what I did? Because for all we know, John could have looked at him as like some sort of like ally, kind of like Travis Scott. Not saying it in a way where it's like he's buddy-buddy with him, but it's like he could look at it and be like, that was pretty cool for you to do that. But obviously John Cena wants to do things on his own accord. So seeing the way things played out with that, I thought was fun. But yeah, the match did what it needed to do. You can't just advertise it as one last time and just have it fall flat. Like, you needed all this stuff to happen.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't go like that DQ route with like the ref slap and all that. Like, a lot of people on the internet, myself included, did throw that idea out there because hey, it would have made sense, at least storyline wise. But yeah, it would have sucked too because then you would have to have like Cody come out at the end or something like that. But people that are complaining that it was R-Truth stopping the match, or not stopping the match, like stopping the Punk kick, you're not paying attention at all. You're not like retaining the information or like the storyline lore that we know of this company. Because like the whole jab is, oh, John Cena is R-Truth's childhood hero. Like, people want to spout that nonsense, all the time about it. But like when you finally see it start being played out, now you have an issue with it. Now you have a problem with it. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, why are you complaining about it when like storyline wise, character wise, it all makes sense? Like, especially last night, like Truth was literally waiting for John to show up, still having a sign that's like, let's go Cena and all that. Like, of course R-Truth is going to be helping Cena out, as much as he can. And from what I could tell, I'd also need to actually go back and like look at what was said during this press conference part. But from what I could see with like the closed captions on and all that, it looked like Truth went out there during the press conference and was trying to build up John Cena a little bit because, hey, childhood hero, I helped you, buddy. You're the GOAT. You're the, I almost say King of Kings, but that's Triple H, but that's besides the point. So like Truth are still trying to big up John Cena, but John just doesn't want to have anything to do with Truth, which also kind of makes sense. Like, yeah, Truth saved him tonight, but Truth is also, part of me wants to say a liability, but this also kind of harkens into, I think I had talked about this. It was either during the predictions or it was last night. I mentioned this idea about like Truth being the one to bring John Cena back into like the fold of the good guy and all that. And I think John, at least this version of John, who's trying, and a keyword trying, and I'll come back to that statement here second. But John's trying to be the ultimate bad guy. He's trying to be a big villain and all that. And he knows that it won't take much to really fully get him back on board on the light side of all this.
Yeah.
And Truth is that thing. And he doesn't, and I think that's probably why he doesn't want Truth around. And why like he acted like he did on this press conference. Because like Truth being around, that positive, because that's the thing. Whenever Truth's in the ring for a promo with somebody, he's going to do what he can to break them. We saw that with Brock years ago. We saw that very recently with like the Judgment Day stuff. Triple H, I think, was also another example when they changed over the titles and all that.
Yeah.
So having somebody like Truth around John, that's not best for business right now. That's not best for this current John Cena. And again, John realizes that, took out R-Truth, and there were rumors that they're going to be fighting each other at this next Saturday night's main event, which, okay, fine, cool. If that's going to be the case, this is a good setup for that. But I mean, even still, it's like you can still have the match, and it'll still make sense for Truth to still like support Cena and all that. Because again, our truth is just our truth and oblivious and all everything.
Yeah.
But and the reason I also kind of bring this up, and part of me feels bad because like technically this isn't part of the show; it was more part of the post show.
Hmm.
But we see Cena go out of the ring. He tells them to cut his music, no music, and all that. People are just gonna stare and look at the last real champion. And John was leaving, and of course there was still like "fu Cena" chants going on, but there was still a lot of "thank you Cena" chants going on. And you kind of start seeing in him like he's kind of breaking a little bit. And I don't know if this was just him like kind of being a bad actor at one point, you know, but he started getting a little emotional. I saw his eyes start kind of like do that quick blink where you're trying to hold back tears and everything. And I don't just his overall demeanor. And I also saw a tweet about this too, so that's why it's like kind of in my mind too. What if part of him kind of regrets the road he's going down? Like he's kind of he's kind of giving the crowd what they want to boo him in this kind of capacity and a rightful boo, but they're still cheering him. They're still being behind him. They still want to see him. No matter what he does or no matter how much he tries to quote unquote ruin wrestling, people are still cheering him. And I don't know if that's just him kind of breaking in that moment, but it's just something to note too with it. But yeah, the match itself though, again, really fun. I think we were all expecting the slow, methodical pace kind of match, which we did still get. But I mean, the trading finishers, they knew what they were doing. I think that's the biggest thing. John and Randy knew what people were expecting in this match and just leaned into it a little bit. Like especially when Randy just started hitting RKO's on everybody at like near the closing stages of the match. Just RKO for them, RKO for you. Like spamming finishers, mind you. And like you said too, both men know each other very well, and you could tell that in the match itself. Like both of them were doing each other's moves. I mean, Randy hit John with two AAs. John tried to hit an RKO, but it failed. But I mean, just them going back and forth a few times, just they know each other, and you could tell that these two were professionals in this match, and they put on something really fun. And I'm sorry if you didn't like this. Like again, you have other tastes. That's fine, but this was just fun, man. It was a fun main event, fun time to be had, and just I'm looking forward to the next match that John has. I mean, it might be against Truth, yeah, but like even beyond that, I mean, Punk had a teaser on Instagram. Cody's supposed to be coming back soon. I don't know if he'll run anything back with Roman or anything,
Yeah,
but
I feel like Cody might have to pull a Roman, like Roman did
mhm,
last year. Just let it burn for a little bit and then come back when he's needed. Because
yeah,
I did sort of expect him tonight, but after looking at everything played out, I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna pull a Roman where it's like Roman's gonna walk away from the loss. It obviously affected him a lot, which definitely fits into Cody's character considering the kind of journey that he was on to
yeah.
get there. So having him come back maybe around the summer or so, depending on
Mhm.
how they orchestrate it, because he's human just like us. He probably wants to spend time with his wife and daughter and everything, and
Exactly.
do stuff like that. So
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have much other to say with this though, because like a lot of this match again was just the history that led into this final confrontation. And
mm,
I said this on our Discord too. Like this is a match that really harkens to some of us like around our age that watch wrestling.
yeah,
Because I know one of my earliest, well, one of my early wrestling periods when I first actually like started watching, it was back in like 2002. And I remember the first SmackDown I watched was the Ruthless Aggression John Cena, and of course Randy Orton was always around. Granted, his thing didn't really start until like 2003 with Evolution and all that, But I mean, even still, like both of them were there at the beginning for me. And when I started coming back to it in like 2015, it was really only because of two memes that were going around, making rounds. It was the John Cena like phone call meme and the Randy Orton from out of nowhere meme going
Yeah,
around.
yeah,
Like those were the two things that like were circulating around so much, and I saw them just like, huh, what's going on in the world of wrestling? And ever since like, again, that was like 10 years ago. So funny, 10 years later, just having those two have their final match. And I mean, I know John still has the rest of his year. Randy apparently saying he still has like 5 years
yeah,
left
yeah. I
in
remember him
him.
saying that. He could very
Yeah,
well get to
so
18. I mean, that's not out of the realm.
good.
Yeah,
No, it's really not. I mean, that's what four other reigns. I mean,
yeah.
do some quick reigns with a world title. Why not? There's another world title for you, Randy.
There
You
you
can
go.
go for that one.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think I guess that's just my closing question for you for this segment. Just like, were there any thoughts that you had from just being a longtime wrestling fan that kind of came back during this match? Because like there were a part of me, there were some times with me where I'm just like, I kind of felt like a teenager again watching
Yeah.
this. You know, just it took me back to another time. But I don't know. Were there any emotional things for you with this, or like anything that kind of hit home for you?
Yeah, I would probably have to say it did because I wasn't around when because I was born in 97. So
Yeah,
I didn't really know what was going on during the Attitude Era and like everything around that time. Obviously, I saw clips later on, but my WWE was like with John Cena and Randy Orton, that iteration of Triple H's outside of what happened within the Attitude Era. And then, of course, Batista and the rest of them that were around at that time. So it's like one of my memories has always been the whole John Cena and Randy Orton rivalry because there's a meme, and I've seen it before online, where there's literally like a whole collage of every single match that they had because they're known to like butt heads so many times, like almost to the point where it's like, okay, do we really need to see this again? Like that's the sort of rivalry that they had like years ago when it came to like how Vince was really pushing those two guys back then, where it's like, okay, John Cena Orton, John Cena Orton, John Cena Orton. But it's like with me, I mean, seeing the journey that John went on, seeing the journey that Randy went on, I mean, probably one of my favorite moments would probably have to be their I Quit match, because that's the one
Mm,
that still sticks in the back of my head, where they were going to war with one another and they were inflicting so much pain on each other in that match. And John really went the extra mile. I believe he took like, was there like handcuffs or like something he had. I think he had something like wrapped around Randy Orton's neck. I don't know if he was trying to do an STF in the ring or like something like that. He was like
mm,
really he was hitting him hard with something like that. He was whipping him with something outside of the ring to really have him say I quit. But it's like there's just
yeah,
like so many things you could take apart from these guys because they know each other. Just like how we saw with that little vignette where it's like showing all the history. And I like how it was like reflecting back on their accomplishments when it comes to the world title reigns, when it comes to them winning the Money in the Bank, when it comes to them winning 2 Royal Rumbles. So it's like I just find it pretty cool how, let's say hypothetically, there was one of those people that never really experienced all of that. They can pretty much know the whole story within that one video package to really let them know
yeah,
what John Cena and Randy Orton was all about. So like I felt like I was starting off as a kid watching wrestling all over again when I saw this match. It's almost like I'm looking at myself in a mirror where I look the way I am now, but if I look at myself in the mirror, I see an image of like a little kid watching this match between John Cena and Randy Orton tonight. And
yeah. It's it's like that moment from Ratatouille where he like
yeah.
kind of flashes back to his childhood.
And one of the things I did notice, because you did touch on like the whole thing with like John Cena starting to break little by little, and obviously getting rid of Truth probably helped prevent all of that happening. But do you think there's going to be instances where John Cena is going to come across these certain opponents that he has feuds with, where he sort of gains something from them? Maybe there's like some sort of valuable lesson that he takes into account, like whatever he comes in contact with Punk. And you know, Punk's really going to lay it on him because Punk doesn't hold back. I mean, you saw how he was during the Elimination Chamber. He pretty much had like another pipe bomb when he was letting out all of his frustration that night. So it's like, do you think when he comes in contact with all of these other guys, they're going to try to hit him with reality, but you're still going to see John Cena fighting it, but you're still going to get those little teases little by little, almost in a way where it's like they're slowly building to it, but they're not going to give you it right away until probably like, you know, later in the year. But do you think something like that could happen with the Punk or whoever else he comes in contact with? Because I mean, outside of Punk, like in Cody, for the time being, I really don't know who else he would go up against. But do you think something like that could happen?
Yeah, I think there is going to be something that he takes away from each of his opponents this year, you know, because I mean, we saw with the Rumble, for example, that was like the turning point, if you will, of him just being like, okay, I can't be happy go lucky anymore. I need to be a little bit more vicious. Elimination Chamber taught him to be more opportunistic in his spots and all that, because that's the thing. Right after the stomp from Seth, he took out CM Punk right after that with that
Yep.
SDF. So, you know, he learned to be more opportunistic in that aspect. With his thing with Cody, he started to learn how to be more manipulative. So like that was when he started pleading with Cody. You know, as much as I bitch and moan about that spot with Cody not hitting him with the title, as my title ends up falling, so I'll just hold on to it. Um, it makes sense that he learned how to be more manipulative because he showed that Cody some sort of weakness, like, oh no, don't hurt me, don't do it. I'm your biggest, you know, support. You know, I was the one that you learned from. It's like, nah, nah, that's just a fake thing. I tricked you. Haha. Now I win. So he learned his manipulation from that. With Orton, I'm gonna have to sit on it a little bit just to see like um what that lesson would be. But I like how you pointed that out too, because like when it comes to his other opponents, it's like, okay, Truth would be the one where I'm trying to think of a good comparison with it. It's because it's like the last little bit of light that he would have
Yeah.
that's still left that he needs to snuff out and all that. It's like that, just that last little bit he needs to get rid of. But because I know I've seen that in a story before, I just can't really quite recall that at the moment. So like that's mainly going to be what the thing with Truth is. And with Punk, it's going to be something along the lines like that's going to be more promo heavy, I feel like,
Mm-hmm.
compared to like the Randy one,
Yeah.
where like cuz like with Randy there's just a lot of history that comes from that. And I mean, same with Punk, but at least with Punk there needs to be more talking that goes with that because
Yeah.
that was mainly the crux of their thing was the pipe bomb. So like it could be a thing where like they and I mean this kind of goes into fantasy stuff and all that and also like what we would want and John's clearly against what we want to do or want him to do. But it could be a thing where John kind of lays a pipe bomb on Punk, very similar to when Punk laid his pipe bomb on Cena.
Mm-hmm.
So it could always be something like that where it's more of John just trying to double down on his beliefs and all that. But yeah, when it comes to like the lesson with Orton, I'm gonna have to kind of analyze the match a little bit and
Yeah.
kind of sit with it a little bit, because I like the concept you're going with that, and I mean the eventual rematch with Cody, that's gonna teach him the humility of it all, and just like the final, just nail in the coffin for his career,
Yeah.
and yeah, um, that's all I have to say about that part.
Yeah. Yeah, because it would be an interesting way if they used that to like progress his character. And then you could look back at it from like a year and you'll see like somebody make it a little thread on X talking about like the way that Cena went back to being a face after all of the things that he learned over time. So I just feel like it would be a cool thing to see happen out of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and because I think that's the biggest thing with it is just like him learning what it's like to be a heel
Hmm.
and just learning how to overcome a lot of that. Because again, he's playing on that whole thing with people being so divisive on him and all that. So yeah. All right, cool. I think we've exhausted the
Oh yeah.
Cena Orton talk enough. Again, there's a lot of stuff to kind of dissect from that, but we have other matches we need to get to tonight, folks. We got other storylines and other titles to talk about. We're gonna go right now into from our main event to our show open here. So we had the United States title being put on the line. Jacob Fatu taking on Drew McIntyre, taking on Damian Priest, taking on LA Knight. We had four-way action tonight, and not gonna lie, this was a strong opening match that they had. And there's a lot of back and forth action from everyone involved, from like LA Knight to Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, eventually Jacob Fatu to all of them all at once. And there was a moment where we get like the stare down between Drew and Fatu, and it kind of, to me, it kind of marked like this next gear that happened that like was the turning point of the match. Because after that, like it was like nonstop action, just from Fatu, just running roughshod on everybody with the finishers coming out. And there's almost an accidental win during the sequence after Drew hits the Claymore on Damian Priest. Luckily, he was able to break that up.
Mm.
And even Priest pulling out the ref when Drew was trying to, like, Drew almost had the match won at one point, and Priest continues to screw Drew over, and that basically takes them both out because they go into the crowd and put each other through a damn table. And good thing Drew's all right. Apparently, there was some news, um, some statements coming out saying that he was being looked at by medical, but Triple H apparently during the press conference was like, "Oh yeah, don't worry about Drew. He's fine. He's safe. He's all good." So great, awesome, fantastic. Glad you're still okay, Drew. But that left LA Knight and Jacob Fatu to kind of take on each other, basically turning into a no DQ one-on-one match. And LA Knight's looking to finish off Jacob Fatu by probably doing an elbow drop through the announce table and all that, but out comes Solo Sokoa. But not only Solo Sokoa, because if you watched our prediction video, or last night, or whenever it was said, we had made a comment about a certain star coming into the WWE, a certain man that might be aligning with the bloodline. Good old Jeff Cobb comes out. They destroy LA Knight. Jacob Fatu's looking all confused, flustered, like, what the fudge nuggets is going on? I don't care. I'm going to pick up the pieces. I'm going to win this match. One nice moonsault later, and Jacob Fatu is still our United States champion. Still looking very confused on why Jeff Cobb is here. And yeah, I'm excited to see Jeff Cobb because man, this man started just destroying LA Knight. Like that was some sick stuff he was doing on there. But yeah, great match, I thought. Really fire start to the night itself. Like really set the tone for Backlash and really helped the crowd not only get energized for the night because they were on it all night. Like the crowd didn't really. Well, I mean, they dipped a little bit, but in the hype moments, they were there for it, and they were there since the beginning with this match. But yeah, drop. Talk to me. What did you think of the match, and just like anything that you kind of pointed out from just some of the action going on, some of the storylines that were intertwining with each other during this four-way dance of the United States Championship caliber.
I'm surprised people thought this match was bad. Like when you told me
They
that,
are dumb.
yeah, like when you
I will
told
say
me
that now.
like when you were talking about that tweet that you saw earlier, I'm like, what the fuck are they
Mhm.
on about, dude? It's almost like they're watching paint dry. It's like you're just I, I don't know, like that has to be bait. Like there's no way that's like
Has to be.
a true statement because based on what I've seen from like a lot of people, like outside of friends and everything, there was a lot of people praising this match because of
Yeah.
a lot of the good spots within the match itself and just seeing, what awaits Jake Fatu moving forward. So it's like the fact that that's an actual thing that somebody potentially good thing. I mean, that's just pretty fucking wild. Like you must be smoking something at that point. But yeah, I thought this was like a strong opening match because if you really want to like start off the card right, you got to have a match like this. And when you have competitors like Jacob Fatu, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and LA Knight, I mean, you're already in like a banger when it comes to those kind of guys. And one of the things I do notice is like LA Knight does so well in these kind of matches where it's like he really goes the extra mile in a lot of these multi-man matches where it's like he did those like 2 top rope spots. He's doing that suplex he loves to do. He's diving. He's doing that what is it, that over the rope spear that he does, like similar to like Johnny Gargano does sometimes. So it's like he really feels like he's in his own world. Like that's one of the things I noticed about LA Knight when he's involved in this. And I also like how you had Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre, because that's something that me and you have been wanting to see, like just a one-on-one match between both of those guys. And we were able to see what those guys were able to do in the ring of one another, just getting a little sneak preview of that. And then you had that whole spot where Drew McIntyre like lifted Jacob Fatu and he knocked him off when he was trying to go to the top rope and everything. And then you also had the Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest spot where he hit a South of Heaven on that like outside, like in the crowd when they were on top of that forgot what it's called, like they were on top of like some sort of storage unit or like whatever it was, or some sort of like table being set up over there. So it's like there was just so many good spots within this match itself. And it's like I mentioned before, like I feel like this is probably the best that the United States Championship has looked in a long time. Like as soon as you put that belt on Jacob Fatu, and I'm not discrediting LA Knight at all, but as soon as you put the belt on him, it just felt different, like right away. As soon as he won that title, you got a lot of big names like McIntyre, Priest, and LA Knight going after it. You get a match like this, and it just makes me happy because it's like we talked about, when John's not there with like the main title, this is essentially their world title when we don't have any sort of segment or matches taking place with the WWE title. And it really did feel like a world title match just based on like a lot of the close calls and a lot of the kickouts, and it was just so good. It was so entertaining. It definitely delivered. I mean, I'm not surprised it delivered. And then obviously you got the debut of Jeff Cobb, which I know he was saying a line that he was quote unquote retired, and we've seen that story play out because obviously he wants to keep it a secret when he eventually shows up. And I'm excited for him. The guy's big. He looks like he's in good shape. I saw a couple of pictures of him on his X account. Like he definitely takes good care of himself. So I'm really excited to see where this is going to go, because it's interesting how it played out, because you had him attack LA Knight, I believe. Was it LA Knight that he attacked? Yeah. He attacked LA Knight. He put him against like the right in the corner outside of the ring, and he just ran into him. And then they used that in a way to like, hey Jacob, you know, there's an opening here. Throw him in the ring, hit your moonsault, and win the match. And Jacob Fatu is confused because he's the kind of guy that is able to do things on his own. He doesn't really need any backup. So the fact that Solo took things in his own accord and even like referenced it last night on SmackDown, it's like, okay, Jacob, okay, I see. And then you have like Jeff Cobb come out, and then I saw something in line that these two guys have history. It just makes it really interesting, because then it makes, you know, Jacob question like, okay, you know, what's going on? Like, why are you doing this behind my back? Like, is this setting up for something bigger? Because in a way, this is kind of like Jacob Fatu being replaced with Jeff Cobb as Solo Sikoa's new enforcer. Like, this is the guy that's going to be doing all of the dirty work now for Solo Sikoa, because now Jacob Fatu, you know, like he's told Solo many times, you know, he's going to go out there and do things that he wants to do, and he's not going to really bother with Solo or whoever else was there. Like he spoke about him before in many segments. It's like, you know, it's either us or nothing. Like I should be able to do things. So it definitely seems like they're building into a babyface Jacob Fatu, because he's definitely over. And I don't think it's going to be one of those generic baby faces. He'll probably just be like LA Knight, where he'll still have the same personality, like Roman too, still have the same personality, but, you know, he'll just interact with the crowd, get him hyped up. You kind of saw that a little bit when he was like raising his fist in the air, trying to really get the crowd going for a couple spots. And it gets
Yeah.
me really intrigued to see, okay, where is this going to lead? Because now you're teasing like not only just a Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa match down the line, you're teasing a Jacob Fatu and Jeff Cobb match. And looking at how those guys are built, I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be like, it's going to be insane to see what these guys do in the ring. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just really excited. Like, the U.S. title, which we mentioned several times on our coverage shows for SmackDown, it just felt so out of place, but now it feels right. Now we're getting to a really good storyline with Solo and Jeff Cobb, and I'm just really interested to see where it goes.
Yeah. Oh, same here. Like they're gonna have a big old hoss fight, and I'm gonna be all here for it. I can't
That
wait
guy is
to
a
see the
huge.
eventual. Oh yeah, dude. He's like he's just built thick. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a little on the short side, which is fine.
Oh,
But
yeah.
like the dude, like he is thick. Like he looks like freaking Maui from Moana, except like 2 or 3 feet shorter than Maui. But it works out for him though. Like it works really well for him. And just a little short burst we got from him tonight, yeah, the man's gonna be a force to be reckoned with on the main roster, and I can't wait for him to have a singles match. I'm curious who his first match is gonna be.
Yeah, it's going to be
I
interesting.
mean,
Oh, actually,
it might be LA Knight,
yeah, I
but
think
I
so.
mean,
Because you might have
yeah,
LA Knight calling him out on SmackDown.
hmm or I mean, yeah, at least probably attacking him too. Like
Yeah.
he's not gonna LA Knight's gonna not gonna want to
Oh, yeah,
talk
he
to
don't
him.
take no
He's
one's
just
shit. Nope.
yeah. But yeah, no, the one spot you had mentioned where okay, I'm gonna try to paint the picture for everybody. So Jacob Fatu's on the top rope. Drew McIntyre goes to I think he's gonna go for like a superplex, but then in comes LA Knight. He kind of knocks Drew off and has him in the tree of woe. But then Knight gets taken down, and Drew does his little like sit up, belly to belly suplex from somebody that's on the top rope. So he does that, but then Jacob, instead of just like landing normally, he ends up
Yeah.
doing like a senton onto LA Knight. And then he gets up, does a suicide dive to freaking Damian Priest on the outside, gets back in the ring and does another like swanton onto Drew McIntyre. Like the man just like nonstop was out of it. It was awesome to see, man. It was great. Uh and just like the whole sequence too that we get from that. um from like after that, because like after he did that onto Drew, he gets up, eats a BFT, then a
Hmm.
South of Heaven onto Night, a Claymore to Priest, which that oh they did a good job with like having that um as like the accidental pin, like oh Damian Priest may have accidentally won the US title
Yeah, I
there,
didn't notice
but
that.
Drew was oh yeah, dude, it was right after Drew hit the Claymore. Priest lands like right on LA Knight, and the
Oh,
ref
okay,
started
okay. Yeah, yeah,
counting.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
part.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Oh my gosh, that part was just that was probably the best sequence of the
That
night.
was like
If I
that was kind of reminiscent of how Ethan Page won the NXT title during that Heat Wave last year.
hmm yeah, and I and finishes like that are kind of fun too because it's like
Mm.
oh because again anything can happen in wrestling. Why not something like that? Like it very reminiscent. The other one that comes to my mind, I think it was either a triple threat match or a fatal 4-way match. But it was when because Sean had hit the Sweet Chin Music on John, and John ended up falling on top of somebody, and the ref counted the pin right there before Sean realized, oh shoot, he landed like that, and I didn't break it up because I didn't realize that. But I don't know. I really like spots like that. But
Mm.
yeah, I'm curious how things are gonna play out with Solo and Jacob going beyond this, because again, Jacob looking all confused, and with the history him and Jeff Cobb have, I'm gonna have to do some research outside of the outside of the podcast to really see like what's going on with that, and
Yeah.
just kind of understand why Jacob's a little more on edge when it comes to Jeff
Yeah.
Cobb, because that's the other thing. Jacob Fatu doesn't get on edge that often
No.
that we see. So the fact that somebody like Jeff Cobb has him on edge should really speak numbers for itself.
Because I didn't watch the press conference yet. I'll probably watch it later. But he even
Yeah.
said during the press conference, I think I said, it's like, you saw on my face, that's how I felt. But it's like, outside of the confusion he had, there's probably like some, like we brought up, like history between both of these guys where he's like, yeah, this guy's a problem. Like, I need to do what I can to get rid of him now.
Yeah.
Because you would think, like, he would probably have to go through him first before he gets to Solo.
You would think.
Yeah.
You would think.
But I want to know the history, like WWE universe, like explain it there, because not everybody, because they don't talk about the stuff that Cody or whoever else that came from AEW. They don't bring that shit up. They should, but at the same time, they're not going to do it obviously because both companies, outside of certain parts within AEW, they don't really mention each other like as much. But I would love to know exactly, like, okay, why does Jacob feel this way about Jeff Cobb? Like, is he as big of a threat as we think he is, or is there something else? Like, is there something personal that happened between the both of them? Like, that's what I want to know.
Yeah. Because again, like, with somebody as dangerous as Jacob Fatu, he's the one that's questioning this. He's the one that's like, I don't want to say looking worried, but he's looking a little taken aback from all this. Like, okay, I don't know how I rightfully should feel right now, but okay, fine. I'll win this match so I can retain my championship. Thank you. Bye. I'm gonna go to the back now. You guys follow at a good distance. I don't want to mess with you guys too much. Like, yeah, again, it's just mystifying and just adds more to a story going on and makes us feel invested in the wrestling product. But from one mid-card championship to another one, we're going to talk about our women's Intercontinental title now. So Lyra Valkyria defended against Becky Lynch tonight in a very technical match, despite Becky's attempts to make it more of a brawl, because there were moments where like she was just kind of launching Lyra into like barricades and sides of rings and all that. But counter after counter, these women showcased a technical masterclass in professional wrestling. And despite attempts at cheating from Becky, from like trying to grab the ropes to trying to undo turnbuckle pads and all that, it's due to a series of roll ups that ultimately put Becky away. And after the match, Becky immediately attacks Lyra, locking in a disarmer and doing much more damage than she really needed to at the end of the match. Speaking, can you just stay up there? Can you just stay up there, buddy? I thought this match was excellent from just a map-based standpoint to an in-ring storytelling standpoint. I just thought it was really good throughout, and a match that Lyra really needed for her Intercontinental title reign to really also solidify her as the top talent that she really should be treated as. And I mean, we're probably going to be continuing the story after that little beatdown from Becky afterwards. Um, I'm sure there are people out there that are upset that this was like a roll up victory, and especially with how quick it ended as it did, which I could get that. I could understand that, especially, kicking out of a few finishers or, special moves or whatever. So I could get that complaint, but I think I'm more for it than against it, because on one hand, we're building up Lyra pretty well, showing that she's a very gritty wrestler, a very gritty technical wrestler. But also the fact that, like, because Lyra's been winning a lot more matches without the use of her finisher, like especially against these talents of the Four Horsewomen. So like with Bailey, she beat her with a roll up not too long ago. Becky, technically she beat Becky twice with roll ups.
Yeah.
One for the NXT title and one tonight. And also with the whole roll up thing, I mean, it's also wrestling too. So hey, they won a wrestling match with a wrestling move. Cool, neat, awesome, fantastic. But I mean, even still, like the moment the match ended and Becky went on the attack, you know what? Fine, because that shows that Becky was aggressive in this, and it also shows that like she's not gonna just take a loss like this lightly. Like, she
Mhm.
is gonna go back on the attack. She is not done with Lyra or the IC title, because her losing to a roll up like that is, in a way, kind of embarrassing. Because, like, when you think back out in the two, like, this past Wednesday, or I guess Thursday, when we were talking about Dynamite, for example, Swerve Strickland lost a tag team match to a roll up. He lost his match to a wrestling move, and commentary at the time were telling the story of it, where, like, okay, well, anything can happen to a world class star if you get them in something enough. And that's kind of what happened with Becky here. It's like she was just outmaneuvered and she couldn't get out of it in time. That's basically what happened. And it just proves Lyra's point even further, that she out wrestled
Yep.
Becky. It wasn't that she, like, beat her with a very powerful technique or anything. It's not like she busted out like a freaking serious punch or anything, like she's like Tama or something. No, she ended up just doing a simple little roll up and caught Becky off guard enough to pull out the win. And man, it again, the match was just really good. A technical masterclass. The moment, like, with all the chain, like, mat wrestling and all that, the freaking surfboard too, like, where Lyra was like, she was rolling around with Becky a little bit, and, like, got her up in the surfboard position, like 3 times or something. It it shows, like, really good core strength and leg strength, and being able to, like, keep Becky in that position without losing the grip. Like, it was really good. And I think people are gonna, like, kind of chalk that up, like, chalk this under as a match that was just like, oh, it was fine, it was all right. But, like, I think on a technical aspect, this was just really good. Like, again, really good, just, like, kind of showcasing Lyra and what she's all about. Because, like, yeah, she can be aggressive, she can throw hands and all that. And hell, even during her entrance, you could tell she was a lot more focused than she's ever been going to the ring. And it showed tonight because she was on it, unlike somebody else that we'll talk about later on. But go ahead, talk to me. What did you think of this match? And I guess their story going forward. Because, again, I don't think Becky and Lyra are done yet.
Oh no, they're definitely not done. Like, that's probably why they pulled that stunt towards the end where you had Becky locking her in the disarmor, because for one, it was showing frustration, and also Becky is trying to have the fans feel sympathy for Lyra in that moment, because Becky's mission right now is to help get Lyra where she needs to be. That's why whenever people mention the whole Becky Hogan thing, I don't really look into it as much, because it's like she's coming back to help propel these stars. And she's even said in interviews before that she comes back because she wants to help enhance the talent. That was the whole reason why she had the NXT title, because she was giving opportunities to people like Xia Li and Indy Hartwell, who normally don't get the opportunity when it comes to, like, these big title matches. So the way that they pulled that off, it's like, okay, you had Lyra win the match, but you still have Becky looking aggressive as ever when it came to her feeling embarrassed, like you said, when it comes to that roll-up win that Lyra did, which I feel like made sense, because it's like you said, this was a technical wrestling match, and that's one of the things you throw in there when it comes to a technical wrestling match. You have these two ladies move around in the ring, they put themselves in these, different wrestling moves, like you had the little cradle thing, and you had, like, Lyra going around a little bit, just putting, like, Becky in the air to, like, just really strain her muscles to, like, weaken her when she had her. And that little, I don't know the name of the move at the top of my head, but you get what I mean. It's like really trying to strain her, so it's like she feels weakened in her arms and legs. So it's like, I like how they were able to really read one another. And that's, like, another thing I noticed about this match itself, especially since this isn't the first time that they worked alongside each other. They had good chemistry. They know how to read each other well. They know how to predict each other's moves, and they know when to do this and when to do that. And I like how Lyra herself in this moment, and even said yourself, if she loses or wins, her mission right here is to, make a difference when it comes to how it's going to propel her career, because you don't necessarily, like, lose all the momentum when you lose a match. It all depends how you're booked, but she's been booked pretty well. And even if she didn't win this match, if she put on a good performance so people knew exactly who she was, that's still a good thing to really help propel her forward, which is one of the things I was looking forward to seeing in this match itself. And that's exactly what Lyra did. She was able to get in this match with Becky. She was able to put her in that position to get to that goal so she can reach it, because I see a lot of people giving her credit, giving her a lot of love online when it comes to the match itself. And I even saw people say, like you said, you know, Lyra was poetic the way that she won the match because she beat Becky by being the better wrestler, which is what she said to Becky to begin with. She out wrestled her to get where she needed to be. So I really like how this was showcased with the women's IC title, because this is what we want out of the women's IC title. We want matches like this. We want it to feel important. We want, whenever Lyra loses the belt and whoever has it after her and loses it as well, we want this to be used to propel them for the main event whenever they have that opportunity to go after the world title or whatever. Like, this is pretty much their test trial to like really see where they can go with this thing. And I probably would have to say this is probably the best the women's IC title has looked when it comes to like a match itself. I mean, it's kind of hard to say that when you throw, you know, Becky Lynch involved here. And this literally kind of felt like a WrestleMania match to me, to be honest, like more than Tiffany and Charlotte did when it came to like what happened there.
That it did.
So it's because I know originally it was like in the cards that this is like one of the rumored matches we were supposed to get at WrestleMania, but obviously you know, things changed. They went down a different direction, and then they built from whatever happened on Raw to lead us to where we are now. But I'm just happy for Lyra because, you know, I see a lot in her. She has a lot of potential. She's doing good. The crowd's getting behind her. They're doing the chants for her whenever she comes out during her entrance, which the St. Louis crowd as a whole was really good tonight. So I was really happy that they were very energetic throughout this event tonight. So that did put a smile on my face. And yeah, man, it's just really nice to see Lyra and Becky in this position, and no Bailey tonight, which I feel like that's probably going to be coming eventually, which is fine. But
that was interesting.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably going to come sooner or later. And I was kind of surprised at the result at first because it's like I said in Grappling with the Week, it's like I could see Lyra winning if Bailey comes back to like just shut Becky up after talking all the shit, or Becky wins it, she goes on a chase or whatever. But I like how they structured it this way because it makes a lot more sense where you ended the match the way it did. It gave Becky an opening to pull off what she did to really strain Lyra, get that sympathy from the fans. And I'm very curious to see, you know, what's going to happen on Monday Night Raw, like when she comes out to the crowd, and what's going to happen beyond this, because this is good stuff for the women's IC title.
Oh, yeah. And I do want to mention that there was a spot, though, that did kind of take me out of it. It was this one spot where, like, it was after, like, a series of quick attacks that happened, and Lyra ended up hitting her top rope leg drop.
Oh, okay.
And she didn't go for the pin right away. She ended up going to the turnbuckle, and then she went for the pin. And she didn't get it right there. And Michael Cole had mentioned something about like, oh, well, this is just the inexperience that comes with Lyra. And I think there's a little bit more depth when it comes to that line, because I think that was just a slip up from Lyra being like, oh, I needed to go for the pin there and not go straight for my turnbuckle spot. Whereas like it would have been one of those ad lib moments where it's just like, okay, you're going, like you forgot to make the cover, okay, and you're going to the next spot. That's fine. Just keep going for the next spot, because instead Lyra decided to go for the original spot and then go for the moonsault that she was trying to hit.
Yes.
So that kind of took me out a little bit of it, because it's just like one of those ad lib moments where it's just like, okay, well, if you skipped this cover that you were doing, fine, just continue on to the move that you were gonna do. And they could still do the line too of like, oh, this just comes for the inexperience. You should have gone for the cover first and then try the moonsault. Like they could have still played with that line as well if Lyra just foregoed the pin attempt. But that was one moment that did kind of take me out of it. But like for that moment itself to just be the only one to take me out of it, that's really something to really say about the match quality itself. Because like I was engaged in this match. Like I didn't really like. I mean, I took notes on another document, so you didn't really see what I had to write and all that. But like, there wasn't really too many notes I had to take because this was a lot like the main event. Something just to kind of experience, and just watch for yourself, and just kind of take in as it's going on. And again, I thought they both did really well to showcase one another. And again, this is all to benefit Lyra at the end. So
Yeah, that was
yeah, all
actually
those.
that was actually the first time she hit that moonsault since she went up against Miko Satomura back in 2021. It's been
Oh
4 years
damn.
since she's hit a
Okay.
moonsault.
Damn. Yeah, because she missed the first one, but yeah, she did get that second one in. So
Yeah,
good, good on you, Lyra. But
a little bit
yeah,
more of
again,
her arsenal.
yep. Oh yeah. That's the other thing. Just busting out more things that you know you can do. Like that's what we wanted too, not just from the promo aspect of everything, but like bust out some other things to just kind of end your opponent. Yeah, all great things, all things considered, and a great technical matchup. I would actually recommend going to watch this for anybody just to understand just some mat wrestling and all that, and
Mhm.
some in-ring psychology too, because again, like the whole story being Lyra trying to out wrestle Becky, but Becky at a lot of points wasn't trying to wrestle Lyra. She was trying to like have an actual fight with Lyra. Because again, in Becky's mind, she was out wrestled by Lyra one time before, and then after tonight, it's been two times now. So yeah, if they have another match, I am thinking it's going to be a stipulation type. So
That'd be
we'll
interesting.
see how. Yeah, yeah, especially on Lyra's part to see what she can do in like a stipulation match. But on and ever upwards to another match of somebody that I feel like should have been a little more locked in tonight, but well, we'll talk about it when we get into the match. We had Gunther taking on Pat McAfee, and not gonna lie, this was the only match tonight that felt like it dragged a lot of places. Um, which Pat took a lot of abuse from Gunther, but he still found some spots to have a little bit of hope. Maybe Pat McAfee can actually pull out the dub and pull out the biggest upset of the whole freaking decade by taking out Gunther in honor of Michael Cole. And even Michael Cole does get involved in the match. Like I part of me thought he might try to, but I'm kind of surprised they did. I mean, he's standing up the whole time cheering on Pat McAfee on commentary. Yeah, go ahead and get involved, dude. Try to outmaneuver Gunther. Try to hold his foot down so he can't kick out from his pin attempt and all that. But unfortunately, Gunther is just too strong for the both of them. He ends up making Pat pass out to the sleeper hold, and in a very interesting turn of events, kind of showing Pat McAfee some respect for uh for surviving as he did against Gunther. I
Hmm.
think I think the big story with those two, with that moment, or something similar to that, is the fact that maybe like part of it is just like Gunther had so much pent up aggression from losing at WrestleMania that yeah, he took it out on the announcers and all that. And after I guess maybe getting a little humbled by Pat McAfee, hopefully now Gunther, at least as a character, can kind of lock in and focus more on becoming a champion again and reclaiming the glory they used to have and everything. Um, but I mean, with that being said, again, I thought the match kind of dragged a bit, like because there were a lot of times where Michael Cole on commentary is just like, "Oh, just go ahead and pin him, just end the
Yeah,
match already," and I'm
yeah.
like, "Yeah, end the match, please. I'm done." I mean, as much as I'm enjoying watching Pat McAfee getting chopped to all hell, yeah, can we end this match, please, and thank you. But yeah, I mean, it was what it was. It was entertaining at certain parts, but hopefully we can just move on from this now. What did you think of this match?
I mean, I thought that moonsault that Michael Cole did was pretty crazy.
Oh my god,
Like that's something I wasn't
he,
expecting him to pull out,
he
especially a
only
man
busts
that's
that out once every 20 years.
yeah. Like, holy
Oh my
shit! Like,
god.
out of all people, you have Michael Cole doing that.
Oh, I had Wade Barrett turning from turning into an American, being like, "Holy shit!"
Oh yeah, did you see that meme going around with Wade Barrett, where a lot of people like saw that picture of like Solo and Jeff Cobb, and Wade was in the background, and people were like, "Oh, it looks like Wade Barrett's a part of the bloodline now," because he's like, you got Solo and Jeff Cobb right here, and then Wade Barrett's like right in the back, just looking directly at what's happening in the ring. But just
Oh, that's funny.
like jokes aside, though, like I will agree with you. Like this match did go on a little bit long. It did go on long. I was entertained throughout it, kind of like a similar reason to you, because you know Pat was getting his ass handed to him by Gunther, which is what you would expect heading into this match itself, because you tend to get wrestling matches like this every so often where it's like the commentator feels like they have the balls to really go in there and shut someone up, and then you got somebody like Gunther just throwing the guy around like a rag doll. And I will admit, because I did see your comment in the chat, there was part of me thinking, especially when Michael Cole was holding Gunther's leg, I actually thought that moment, and I didn't think they were gonna have Gunther lose, but for some reason my mind played games on me where I thought at that moment he was gonna pin him on that spot, because there was like a lot of close calls too, especially with like towards the end where you see him inside the sleeper hold. And you got like, I thought at first when he locked it in, it's like, okay, he's going to pass out, because it was sort of leading to that. It's like this, arm went down, and then his arm went up again. It's like, okay, holy shit. Okay, I guess they're trying to show how much how much he has in him, so he's not looking like a phony going up against him, which is another thing I forgot to mention earlier about the whole Lyra thing when it comes like the finishers and everything. They're just using that to show it. Yeah, when you see this girl in future matches, it's gonna take more than this to keep her down. Same thing with the whole thing with Pat McAfee. Everybody loves him. They want him to look good in like some sort of way, some sort of shape or form. But it's like, it was what it was. I'm just more curious to see, what was Gunther doing after this? Like when you see him on Monday Night Raw, because that's the big question. Because I don't know what he's gonna do. Because do you know by chance that like Pat has some football stuff to do after this or whatever? Because I don't know if this is a way of them writing him off TV.
If he does, I don't really think so, because like a lot of his college stuff, I mean, unless he's doing like, unless there's some sort of big college thing in the next like week or so, a lot of his stuff won't start until like August, September time. So I could see him still being around until like maybe after, like a little bit after SummerSlam, maybe around Clash of Paris type deal. But because that's when he starts doing all that stuff.
As long as he doesn't go on his show like tomorrow or whatever and just look completely fine, not bandaged up.
Well, that's the thing. Like when he got choked out by Gunther, I didn't watch the clips, but a lot of people were saying that he was selling like getting choked out by Gunther.
Oh, okay, that's good
on his show. Which commendable. Thank you for that.
But
much like, sorry, I just remembered freaking Tony Khan during like
that's what I was thinking
NFL
of
stuff with the freaking neck brace.
Yeah, because he was
just like, what are you doing?
Wasn't he trying to sell that spot with the Bucks when they did like the Tony Khan driver, whatever it's called? And I think that was the same day he made that like ridiculous comment too.
Oh man, it's like, again, I appreciate you keeping kayfabe. That's great, but everybody else outside of it is just like, what? Why you have this big pillow around your neck? Like what? Okay, fine.
I don't know.
Again, I'm just, what's next for Gunther? Like, I mean, he's not going immediately after Jay because Logan Paul's around, and that, which got announced tonight, that's going to be part of Saturday night's main event. Cool.
I don't even know like what he's gonna do. Like that's the confusing part, because it's like he's not gonna start feuding with Michael Cole afterwards. Because Michael Cole is just a part of this story. So I don't know. Like I can't really think, because it's like you already have a lot of the guys on Raw involved in something. You got Seth, Braun, and Heyman. They're working alongside each other. They're going up against like some CM Punk. Now you incorporate Jay into that too, even though he's doing a little thing with Logan. And then you also have who else is involved in there? Like Sami Zayn, And then you got Rusev, dealing with American Alpha. And also, he's a heel too, so you can't really do them yet.
Yeah.
Unless they just want to rip each other to shreds. But it's like, I don't really know where Gunther goes after this. It seems like a lot of the spots are filled.
Yeah. I mean, because you can't really throw him into like other mid card stuff either with
Yeah.
like the IC title because that's kind of already a busy division in itself. I mean,
Yeah.
the only other thing is maybe he starts the whole Goldberg thing because
Yeah.
I know Goldberg's like he's I don't want to say he's scheduled for one, but like the rumors are that like, or no, he's even said it too. I think on like a podcast. I'd have to go back to see what it was, but like he plans on having his last match this summer, and a lot of signs kind of point to Goldberg versus Gunther because there was a little bit of an interaction a few
Oh,
months
yeah.
ago, and there were rumors going around like just this past week that Goldberg's name was starting to make the circuits around like creative plans and all that. So I don't know if we start building for that for like the Saudi show because the Saudi Arabia's people like they seem to really like Goldberg
Yeah.
in their shows and all that. So it could be then. It could go on to SummerSlam. I don't know. I'm just glad he didn't show up tonight to help Pat McAfee, like a lot of people thought he was going to do.
Yeah, that was that
Because,
was an option a lot of people did see.
which, if he had come out after the match, I would have been fine with it.
Yeah.
During the match, nah,
You know
I'm
what's
good. I'm
you know what's
good.
gonna be funny though? Like seeing Goldberg pass out to a sleeper hold.
Right?
That's
Would he?
gonna
Would he? Has he ever tapped out? I don't
I don't
recall in his
I don't
career.
recall. Like I know when Brock went up against him, he just did like the F5 and shit and pinned him. I don't know on the top of my head if he ever like uh passed out. Like I know he wouldn't tap, but he would probably like pass out. That's like the kind of
Yeah.
character he is, being like, this big tough guy and everything. Like that's the sort of way I would see him going down if he was put into in a submission. But I don't know.
Yeah, because I could see him like fighting to even get to the ground, even in a sleeper. Like Gunther, like
Yeah.
struggling to keep the sleeper on, but eventually, like Goldberg does fall and yeah, passes out and all that. So, yeah, chat or comments. Let us know down below if Goldberg had ever tapped out. I'll leave that up to you guys. Let us know down there. Get a little bit of interaction going on.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to say other than, where does Gunther go from here? And we've kind of mentioned that already. So, yeah, we'll move on to our final match to talk about. The Intercontinental title was on the line as dirty ass Dominik Mysterio was defending against Penta. A high flying, fast paced lucha libre showcase between Dom and Penta. Dom, again, like I made this comment earlier, but Dom was like the one that made me think about this. Dom came out working. He brought his work
Yeah.
boots tonight with like snappy Hurricane Ranas, that suicide dive DDT that he did, the charismatic taunting. Like he was doing Penta's taunts at a couple times throughout the match. Yeah, Dom just looked really good, and I don't want to say he's like actually wrestling a babyface style because he's kind of not. It's more along the lines of like the cocky heel style that he's doing because it's like okay, you're doing these high flying things, you're doing like these things that'll pop the crowd, but see, you're kind of being a dick about it because you're good and you're making the audience know that you're good. Cool, great. Just do the wrestling match, just finish the match, as Michael Cole would say. Which is the other thing, Michael Cole was like bigging up Dom a little bit during the match.
Yeah.
Like, granted, he made it clear. Oh yeah, I'm just being objective with his actions in the ring, his actions outside of the ring. No, he can go away with all those. But like, even Michael Cole was getting behind uh Dominik Mysterio this match. So, all right, character development for Michael Cole, even better, even greater. But of course, the Judgment Day end up coming back out and running some interference with like Carlito distracting the ref, Finn and JD about to take out Penta, but unfortunately, Finn takes too long grabbing a steel chair. all three members of the Judgment Day get thrown out, but Finn continues to just yell at the ref, try to interfere even more. And something I did not think would be coming out tonight. I'm surprised. I don't recall if either of us really talked about it on Grappling or even last night. Here comes El Grande Americano
Yeah, we
to
didn't
just
bring it up.
ruin the match. What I mean, I'm not mad at that though, because this match was like we had mentioned there was going to be interference. Just neither of us seemed like really thought it was going to be from El Grande Americano.
Yeah.
But a single headbutt with a metal plate in his head, in his mask, takes out Penta. Dom does a good old frog splash and continues his reign as Intercontinental Champion. Again, I thought this match was a lot of fun. Dom's really coming out to his own now, and I always remember a comment. This was like a few years ago, like I want to say like 2019, 2020 time period,
Hmm.
where I forgot who it was exactly. It was somebody that was like older generation in WWE. But they had made a comment that like in a few years time, Dom was going to be a top star. And this as of this year in 2025, this match kind of showed that because out of all the things he did with the Judgment Day, out of all the stuff that was leading up to this year's WrestleMania and everything, this match I thought was a really good way to kind of get Dom out of his own shell. Like, because we had talked about Lyra getting out of her shell and all that.
Yeah.
This was kind of Dom's moment as well. Because like he was being a very cheeky wrestler, a lot like his, real dad Eddie Guerrero and all that. So like he's being a little bit more lovable, a little bit more cheeky, even though he's doing dastardly things. But yeah, I thought he looked really good, and like the same with Penta too. I mean, Penta always looks good. I mean, there was that like Mexican Destroyer he did on Dom on the hardest part of the ring. That looked amazing from his side of it all. But yeah, I mean, Dom's gonna hold on to the title longer, which I mean, at least for me, makes the most sense just because of the story they're telling within the Judgment Day. And even kind of harkening back to like how Finn's plans don't really work. Because Finn, instead of just going right after Penta and just punching him a little bit, he decides to get a steel chair, and that gets all of Judgment Day thrown out. Whereas Dom's plans pretty much worked. And I didn't get to see Finn's reactions after El Grande Americano came out. So I'm wondering if it was Finn's plan or Dom's plan. Um, so I'll have to go back to kind of look at that. But what do you think of the match, Rob?
I thought it was good. Like you said, that Dom was able to go out there at first to showcase what he's made of outside of like the Judgment Day, it being like outside of the ring. Like they did come later, they did play a part into him eventually retaining the title. But I'm glad that you had him go out there on his own, because that's something you're going to have to venture down eventually down the line when it comes to his growth as a character. Because, he's still a young kid. He has a lot of years to go when it comes to where he could potentially be in the future. So I feel like, this was a good spot. Have him go out there. I even saw him hit an Oblivion as well, which I know that
was crazy.
Liv Morgan actually like took note of that online when she like quote tweeted the entire clip that showcased that. But I'm just glad that he was able to go out there and work, like do some things, especially when you go up against somebody like Penta. And I know I was like saying yesterday on Thursday, that I wanted Penta to win, but it's like after looking at it, like it does make sense for the reign to continue a little bit longer. But also at the same time, I'm more content with it because Penta, didn't lose clean. I'm not sure why people said that
Exactly.
he lost clean. I saw some people say, "Oh, Penta lost clean." It's like, no, he got hit in the head. Yeah, I was like, he got hit.
What are they watching?
Yeah,
What?
see, I didn't understand that bit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because I was like, he got hit in the head by like that little piece inside of inside of Americano's mask, and that's what ended up leading to Dom's victory. So I'm like, he didn't win clean. Like that's the fucking heel tactic to win a match. I mean, Americano has been doing that for a while now, and he's actually done it to like both Lucha Bros now. Like he's done it to Penta, and he's also done it to Rey Fenix. I wonder if that's going to eventually factor into something as well, because I know he did it to Rey Fenix at WrestleMania, and then he did it to Penta tonight. I'm not sure if this was the first time he did that spot on the top of my head, but he did it to Penta tonight. So
Yeah.
yeah, he didn't win clean. So I don't know where the heck that came from, but it gets me like really curious to see exactly like why he's targeting like Penta and Phoenix. Like, is this building up to a Lucha Bros reunion down the line or something?
I would assume so, since Gable's whole thing is against luchadors and all that. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go after Penta now. I'm gonna go after Rey Fenix. I'm gonna go after Dragon Lee. Like, all luchadors are going to be taken down by the
Yeah.
great El Grande Americano. So I think that's just the gist of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't have a lot to say about this one because as much as this statement might suck to hear as well, this felt like a Raw match.
It did feel
I
like
mean, it
that.
was, yeah. So it's just like, okay, great on Dom. Like, yeah, you just heard us, big up Dom, which, again, kudos to him. But at the end of the day, this could have been a Raw main event, which, I mean, it was on a PLE, which is good. They're getting their PLE money and getting a paycheck from it. Cool, great. Just, it was just the overall feeling of the match. Like, okay, this would have been a great like main event on Raw, which isn't a good or bad thing against the match. It's just, it is what it is. It's just the feeling of the match. And whether we're together on this or not, hey, that's just an opinion on the internet that we all love and hold dear to talk about anything and everything, especially oh my god, no, I'm still hooked on this. How was it a clean win? How was it a clean win?
Yeah.
He had a metal plate in his damn mask. And even if he didn't, the man still headbutted the guy. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, no,
That's like saying, like, the U.S. title match, the four-way was a bore. It's like, no, what were you watching? Were you watching paint dry? Were you watching, like, oh my gosh, it hurts.
Yeah, it's like it blows my mind sometimes with like the kind of stuff that they say online. And like, keep in mind, we shouldn't like obviously like look into it because for the most part it is stupid.
Oh yeah,
But it's like at the same time it's just laughable to bring up because it's like where did that come from with the whole clean spot, the whole thing about like Lyra like kicking out of two manhandle slams. Like, I'm sorry, but did you see how overbooked that main event was? And it was still entertaining when it came to the amount of RKOs and AAs that both men kicked out of. Especially if you're trying to build a star. I mean, that's kind of what you do. You got to make her look strong as she's in a match in the future that's a lot more serious where she is now. But it's like that wasn't, I don't understand it, man. Like, as soon as I saw that, I was like flabbergasted. I'm like, okay, like times have changed. Like, because I never saw like a lot of this shit growing up. A lot of things were like normal when it came to certain ways that people viewed things. But nowadays, it's like always every little thing.
Well, see, here's the thing. It's either they're trolling or they're stupid.
Yeah.
And either way, they're stupid.
Yeah.
It's trolling itself is just stupid anymore in 2025. But hey, hopefully you enjoy those click rates for your little clickbait tweet.
Yeah. You got to get yourself a burger or something with that Twitter money.
Yeah, exactly. All $5 that those thousands of views will get from Twitter.
Yep.
But with that being said, that was Backlash actually. So again, I thought it was a good, solid night filled with some good action, some good storyline progression going forward. Again, nothing too big or too groundbreaking, but it was still a fun night of wrestling. Like, I didn't walk away feeling very upset about a lot of things. A couple things again that kind of took me out of it. Again, like the Lyra missed pin and all that. The Pat McAfee Gunther match taking a little bit long or feeling too long and all that. But I mean, again, still, it was just a good, solid night of wrestling, and I liked watching it. What do you think of tonight?
I enjoyed it a lot better than I expected. And I'm glad that
Yeah.
I did, because I know heading into this match we weren't like really like super into everything, but after seeing everything play out, because I know they normally use the term, let things play out, see where they go. I will say tonight that they did a good job when it came to, the main event itself. Overbooking was fine because, again, it's their last match of Fun. They got to make it memorable. It was entertaining that way. Setting things up with Jacob Fatu moving forward to the U.S. title scene, especially with Jeff Cobb's involvement, and the history they have is nice. Establishing Lyra Valkyria as, a future card in the division when it comes to the ladies is nice. Becky's still attacking her after the match. She's just helping add sympathy to that to really help grow her. I thought it was nice. And yeah, it was just it did what it needed to do to entertain me on Saturday night. And plus, it was a short show. It literally was like started at 7 and ended around like 9:30. So I remember when it hit like 8:30ish or so, I was like, oh, we only have like one more match left. Like, wow, that went by
Yeah.
real quick.
Yeah. Please, PLEs continue to start at 7, because that just
Yeah, I like that. That's a nice sweet
it
spot.
makes the night so much better. Like, because that's the thing, we had like what 2.5 hours, or like 2 hours and 40-ish minutes of the event. So I thought it was paced really well, with the breaks that we have in between each match and all that. But yeah, it didn't sit too long, and it didn't. I mean, it dragged in a couple places, mainly the Pat Gunther match. But
Yeah.
yeah, I thought, pacing wise, it was fine. And yeah, that's all I've got. Seems like that's all Drops got. Again, very solid night for the wrestling. But we'll leave it to you guys now in the chat or in the comments if you're watching the VOD to let us know your thoughts on WWE Backlash 2025. Was it a great show? Was it a boring show? Was it mid at best? Was it the greatest of all time? Let us know down in the comments, and we'll see what you have to say and either agree, disagree, have a fun little chat about it. Either way, let us know how you feel about it in the comments below. Be sure to like the video, do the whole subscribe thing, hitting the bell icon, getting notified of every single time that we go live, because we go live on Mondays and Fridays and Thursdays with all of our coverage from WWE to all the news stuff that comes out, all that fun stuff. And of course, PLE coverage on the days that they come out. Yeah, so with that all being said, I'm going to take time to thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. If you enjoyed what we had to say, again, be sure to do all that wonderful stuff. And if you ever wanted to talk to us about like wrestling or anything outside of that, where it's like anime, manga, cartoons, video games, all that stuff, hey, all of our social media links are down not only in the description below, but you see on our screen in the nice little yellow section, there's a bunch of handles on there. There's Anima Wii Studio, there's Legendary Vash, there's Drop This Box, there's Watkins MW, and of course, Weaves of the Ring. Those are all places that you can find us on any social media outlet, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, uh, Twitter/X. If you want to be normal, just call it Twitter, whatever. Blue Sky still exists, but I haven't really logged on to our Blue Sky in months. So, hey, that's still a social media that we have. So be sure to follow us on there. Use the hashtag Weaves of the Ring to engage with us for any conversations that we have before, during, or after these events. And yeah, give us some feedback so that way we know what we could do to improve the show and continue to get even better at what we like to do on these nights, on these late nights, talking about the wrestling. Weaves of the Ring is presented by Anima Wii Studios. Thanks to our production team for all of their hard work. Thank you once again for joining us. And remember, as always, no stunt gurneys were harmed in the recording of this podcast. Have a good night, everybody, and we will see you on Monday for the good old Monday Night Raw.
You guys.